Yeah, I'm not sure what
Welcome
was happening
again
there.
to Real Issues Live with Crystal.
Thank you.
So the last time you came in your topic of expert or your professional on your professional end of being a human resource manager for years, and now you're coming as just a guest who I have spoken to as it relates to my separation, and I think definitely you gave me great advice, and I want you to advise some of these audience. I do have persons in my DM who are, very heartbroken, and they think they can't find love again and they don't know how to heal and all of that. But before I allow you to start, do you have anything to say to the guest that was here before? Or did you hear my story?
Yeah, I heard your story and I listened to her
Mm-hmm.
and some very good points. Some I agree with
Right.
very much,
Mm-hmm.
and some I would take a different viewpoint
Okay.
on. But again, at the end of the day, the key thing and the motive that I heard is
Mm-hmm.
the importance of acceptance.
Ah,
Accepting that this is what it is now. And you can't change that. The
right.
question you ask about does time heal?
Does time heal? That I was the same questions I asked her, I'm gonna ask you. So does
Okay,
time heal?
so let me speak to that one. It depends on what kind of time you're talking about.
Time
There
period.
is there is a clock time
Mm-hmm.
and there is what is referred to as psychological time.
Right.
And it's very important that we know the difference.
Right.
Now, for some people, as time progresses, the pain gets worse or the suffering. And again, I don't want to get into the semantics, but there's a difference between pain and suffering. You can
Right.
be feeling pain, but you're not suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Suffering is important to quite a degree.
Right.
And sometimes it is when you suffer that you get to that place of awareness. And is where you grow too, in the suffering.
Right.
And when you are tie yourself to clock time and say, oh, I don't need to accept it now. I will accept it over time. No, time does not heal. Clock time does not heal because
Okay.
you're always looking to the healing to take place in the future. You're
Right.
always looking to finally accepting it sometime in the future.
Right.
Psychological time deals with how you deal with your own self now. How do you come to terms with you
Right.
and adjust your own internal state? Because how you deal with the separation has more to do with your internal state than the separation itself. And that is what psychological time is. I need to do this for me now. Now, the other thing that struck me in your discussion, sorry, is when you spoke about, and I think both of you, you
Yes.
said it repeatedly, the issue of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
I was not happy, and I am happier now. And
Right.
the reason I brought that up is because I think sometimes we overplay happiness
Right.
and we look to happiness for as something that we get from the world, and only the world can give it to me. Not
Right.
realizing that it doesn't come from that place, it comes from within. And I'm reminded of a quote from Viktor Frankl. Viktor
Mm-hmm.
Frankl wrote this wonderful book. I'm
Mm-hmm.
recommending it to all of your listeners. And the book is called Man's Search for Meaning.
Man's search for meaning.
Yes. And
Okay.
you can get it online too.
Okay.
And and let me tell you, read that book carefully because Viktor Frankl went through things that you and I would not imagine going through in our lives.
Right.
Imagine you go to a situation where every member of your family was killed.
Whoa. Whoa.
Every member of your family was killed, including your spouse. And
Mm-hmm.
you survived 10 years of torture every day. and beaten. Yeah. And so he wrote that book, Man's Search for Meaning. And he said something about happiness that resonates with me. And I want to share it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, for success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. You
Yeah.
can't pursue it.
Yeah.
It must ensue, and it only does so as the unintended side. So you're not going after happiness. It comes out of you without you saying that I want happiness to come out of me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said that happiness must happen. And the same holds for success. You have to let it happen by not caring about it.
Wow. That's true.
So it is very, very
Mm-hmm.
profound, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're focusing
Somebody's
on,
asking you if that's the author in the
yes,
chat.
that's the author,
Yes.
Victor.
Yes,
Right,
author.
right. So the name is spelled Viktor. Frankel, Frankl.
Okay.
So that's what he said. It happens. You don't care about it.
It's not like you're saying, I'm going to be searching for happiness.
Right. I need to be happy. And the
Right.
thing about happiness is that when you start saying, I need happiness, what the universe hears is, I'm not happy. And the more you say to the universe, I'm not happy, is the less happiness you're feeling.
Right. Right.
But if you say, I need to experience peace now, that's psychological time. I want to be at peace now. In this situation that I'm in, what I want to come out with is that peace within.
And that is so important to me right now, my peace of mind. I don't even know what is happiness. Peace of my peace of mind brings me happiness, the fact
That's,
that, so I don't let things that used to worry me back then, I try to and people who used to get in me, negative people, and I try to cut it off a lot, because I'm very, very big on my peace of mind. I'm very big on my
yeah,
energy now.
yeah,
I'm not gonna let that. Okay, so you're gonna be arguing about that. The guest before mentioned that, sometimes even though she still be arguing or whatever. That was for me. I don't like how I feel when I argue, so I'm not gonna argue.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
just gonna ignore.
Because
Been there,
you
done that.
feel like, to me, when you begin to argue, you're saying to the person, you are in control of my emotions here.
Right, right.
Um, I am reacting to your state of mind, your shortcomings, your perceived shortcomings,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the way I am and the way I behave is really determined by you.
Right, right.
Yeah. And my thing is, what's the best way to deal with breaking up is stepping away from it, looking at it from outside of yourself. And I love what you said about understanding that I could have done this differently,
Right.
and to take the position of humility, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, suck some humble pie, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or eat up some humble pie, eat up some humble pie, and
Yeah.
say, look, I'm sorry, and I really shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And if I were more thoughtful or more present, that would not have happened. But
Right.
to
Right.
me, the biggest thing when you have a breakup is to feel that I have grown from this and I have expanded as a person, the growth that I feel. Because a relationship should create space, and you need
Definitely.
space to grow. You need
Definitely.
space to grow.
Definitely. I'm good. On that note, do you think men heal differently, or is it the same process? And give us some healthy tips
I
according
think
to
men
healing.
feel differently from women. And we live in a real world here.
Yes.
For a lot of women, want to commit themselves to a man,
Mm-hmm.
it's just you.
Right.
And I'm so centered on you, I'm focused on you,
Mm-hmm.
And what I enjoy with you, nobody else now get it. And so
We're territorial, yeah.
yes, right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so you offer me
Right.
that ownership is also a big part for women. And men too, more so
Men
for
are
men
not
as a matter
like
of
that.
fact. I'm saying more so for men, that
Okay.
ownership. But here's the difference. Here's the difference. The woman will feel that the relationship is breaking down
Mm-hmm.
and is working on it, how to
Mm-hmm.
make it better, and to see if she can be more, give more of herself to the man.
Right.
The man he said a brought down and him say, you know what? Let me go look for it other places, not just some place or one
Right.
place, but other places. Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
his territorial thing is that while I can go out there and graze in other pastures,
Mm-hmm.
you need to stay right here and be dedicated to me. So
Right.
when the relationship comes to an end, very often, all the man care about is that whatever you give me, no give nobody else. And sometimes the man don't even love the woman anymore now. But he just don't want no say nobody else to partake.
Right.
And a lot of men want to think that she's sitting there waiting on me and pining over me. And it's an ego thing.
Yes,
Yeah, well,
because as you said, they want to do whatever, and some men, they try. Women would tend to men would be the one to most times move on before the woman. Most times, um, because they think. Do you think that in their thinking, the easiest way is to use another woman to get over, or is
that's
it
what
that? Huh?
some people do. Some people
Right.
find it easy to do that. Men and women, actually. But I
Okay.
think most of men
Right.
find it easier to, the rebound situation.
Yes.
I can't handle the pain. Let me find somebody who can soothe the pain for me.
Right. Right. That's true. But is that good?
Oh, nothing could be more negative
Okay.
because you never really heal and you never really address you. You never
Ah,
really take the time out to look at your shortcomings. So your project is to get involved with somebody else, and in the process, because you're so damaged, damage somebody else too.
that's true. Eventually.
Yeah, because you are in a dysfunctional state. And when you take the time out to make yourself your greatest project and get to that place where you begin to experience peace and you feel that you're growing from this experience and you're a better and wiser person from this experience. And the next relationship you move into will be a better relationship for you.
Definitely. See somebody saying rebound is never a good thing. Never.
No, no, no. It's a horrible thing. And it's a very selfish thing.
Yeah, but sometimes don't you think like even at 2%, sometimes they do find their from
You know what? In most instances, when people
mm-hmm.
rebound, it doesn't last because I need you as a mean to an end to help me to get past this painful experience.
But what if you actually like the person before the separation?
You know what? And you put it right. What if you like the person? What if you admire the person? So the person
And you
comes
and the
in
person were
handy.
actually talking before you actually got separated, so it's not necessarily a rebound per se because you were getting to know the
Well,
person.
I was about to say we need to be clear on what we're trying to say. Rebound. The fact that you just come out of a relationship don't mean you need to rebound. It could mean
Right.
that you were out of it long before you were out of it.
That is what I want to say. That is what I want to say. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're already healed. You just needed to do it physically.
Yeah.
And
So I guess in those instances it works.
yeah, because you're not feeling that
It's not
pain
like
and
you're
you're not
trying
trying to get
feeling that
over the
pain to
person.
say, "Oh, I don't have this person again." You didn't want that person in the first place. Like
No, you're not looking for someone to fill that gap.
exactly.
Right. And which is what rebound is really.
Right.
I'm experiencing this horrible pain and I'm suffering, and I need I need a shoulder to lean on. I need someone to take care of me sexually.
Right.
And so that I can help me to forget about this person very quickly.
Right.
And what is it that happens is you feel that, okay, I'm past this, and I've now gone over that person. Your role is now fulfilled. So it's time for you to go too. That's what happens in a lot of rebound situations. And ladies, be careful about when the man says, boy, me and my girlfriend just break up and he want
Yes.
to get involved with you. It means that him to look somebody if he get past the situation he's in,
Yes.
so that he can get over it quickly and move on. And as soon as he does, you will become his next ex.
I definitely agree with you. You know, take time. Take time to get to know people. Don't rush in anything. I'm getting a lot of that since lately. Oh, I just separated. I'm like, I don't want to get into it. I'm more encouraged to say, are you sure you can't work it out? Did you ever try? So, you know, if a bother come with it, I'm not going to be the one. It have to be like, well, cemented in. I'm not going to be the one to get involved in that. And then especially what I've been through too from experience, I'm not going to be the one to say, okay, let's go at it, you know. Definitely,
Right.
ladies, we do, you know, we need to spend time to know people, be friends first. I think that's one of the things in society now where feel like we have to rush, especially for those who are at a certain age. They feel like, listen, I have to rush this thing, I have to rush it. Haste make waste. Why? Why I have to rush it? Who said I have to have a man by a certain time? Who said I have to move on, even if it's 5 years? Who said you know? Who writes that in the book to say if I don't have
And you
somebody, I
know,
could move on?
you know what it boils down to at the end of the day for a lot of people?
Mm-hmm.
Self-definition.
Right,
How do I define me?
right,
And that is a fundamental crisis for most human beings, you know. Um, and people tend to want to define themselves by who they're with. Am I in a relationship? And is this person someone who can enhance my self-image? So some men want to go after certain women, and some women want to be seen as certain men, because I am defined by the person who I have by my side. And the person
right.
must look a certain way and has a certain appeal for me to
Mm-hmm.
feel comfortable, because that's how I define me. And so very often when people break up, what they miss is what this person did to my self-image. I want back that because my girlfriends were all hot for you. And everywhere I go, people can't believe I'm with this man.
Right.
And and so they need that. They need that. It's not about the love. And you know, and after a while, sometimes they look back and say, but was I really in love with that person? Why was I hurting so much?
Mm-hmm.
Because it affected my identity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
And
it boils down to, you know, loving yourself. I am one for if I should go back to the, let's say, I don't live my life with regrets anyways, but I'm just saying, if I definitely had the proper guidance, I definitely would, based on how I had my life planned out. I'm a focused person. How I had my life planned out was to, you know, have my apartment. My partner would have their apartment, and then we would go and whatever. I never plan of just leaving right out of family house, jumping into marriage. You know, that wasn't all in the plan. However, that is what God had for my life. So at the end of the day, He's giving
well,
me an opportunity. No, I'm kind of
you have
living
such
that.
a
I'm living it in the reverse.
right, but you have such a beautiful angel from that marriage, and it couldn't have been better.
Oh, and I think she saved me a lot of the times. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so you know, definitely I would tell young girls, do them first, focus on their goals before, you know, investing. When you make a certain commitment, no matter what, you do lose some of yourself because you're giving yourself to the marriage and all of that. So I would say, don't deviate from the plan that you have. I definitely, let me know what you think. Is it that because some women, they do this and then it takes a while for them to even transition into getting a partner. But I believe for the younger years, I got married quite young, I was 24 when I got married. But during that time is a
You
time
were
of,
courageous.
pardon?
You were courageous.
Yes. Well, yes. But it wasn't in the plan. This man does sweep me off my feet and so really, as I said, I'm always this kind of independent girl, and I didn't picture my life being married at that time, but it happened, and I'm grateful it ended. That wasn't in the plan. Nobody get married to be divorced, but this is where my life is taking me. I look at it as a second shot to do the things that I like to do. And when God is ready for me to remarry, he will allow me to feel as if I'm healed enough to be ready for that person as well. So what do you say to young girls, in their university years, as it relates to how, or young men too, what do you say to them in terms of them actually living by themselves first, feel what it feels like to be independent, take care of your own business, take care of your own house, care yourself first before introducing a partner? Let me know what you think about that.
I always say this about relationships. There is no formula. There is
Right.
no one right way. What works well for somebody doesn't work the same way for another person. And very often we tend to see the progression in that light because of how we're cultured.
Right.
But if you're born in another place, like in Asia, where the approach to marriage and so on is quite different, you would have another insight of it. But
Right.
within the context of our culture, I do believe that if you are able to be with you, spend time with you in your own space, and learn to love you, and not do it because, oh, I'm independent, but do it so that you can be in touch with you. Then when you open up that world to somebody else and to share space, it becomes easier because you learn things about you that you wouldn't have learned if you were in that space with somebody else.
Okay. I definitely agree.
Yeah, and also about spending time to visit each other is important because you see certain nuances then, and you wonder, if I should get married to this person, would I be willing to cope with that? Is it
Right.
something I want to put up with? And I said that to say, many people will see these nuances and say, oh, wait till we get married, you have to change that. Wait till we get married, you have to adjust, and you can't do that again. And then when you get married and you try to change the person, and the person's like, no, hell no, this is me. You're saying, I am trying to make you a better person. And that is one of the worst things people can do in marriage. Claim that you're trying to make the other person a better person.
Definitely.
And I say to people, never try to change the other person. Ask yourself, can I live with this? If I say yes, when you get married, they say, I know this is how you are before we got married. And so, yes, I am willing to put up with this.
Definitely agree. All right. Finally, is the healing process harder when a child is involved? And give suggestion as to how to deal with that.
Yeah, I think certainly it is. And your friend said it in a very explicit way, because we share a child, and so we have to visit. And as a result of that, we have to stay in communication.
Right.
It's not like to say, okay, now go about your business, cut all ties, and move on. And especially when you see the child manifesting certain behavior, and you have the impression that the child is behaving that way because of the child's inability to cope with the separation.
Right.
And then you begin to wonder, did I do something wrong? What could I have done differently to make life more stable for the child?
Right.
So that certainly makes it difficult. You find also that when something is wrong with the child and you are feeling pain because the child is feeling pain, even if you are in a relationship, the only person who can help you to deal with this pain is the person with whom you share this child. And to call the person and say, boy, so and so. And you talk about it and decide how best to approach it. And you come to, and the person will call and say, oh, how is she feeling now? So on. So I say, yeah, and you talk about it. And you kind of feel like, boy, it feels like old times. So yes, it is more difficult when a child is involved, especially if the person is actively involved in the child's life.
And I just say to that, definitely. However, once you come to accept that this is what it is, then that is a big word. We have to accept it and know that this is what it is. So you do what works for you. Co-parenting is definitely one that we need to talk about, but that is for another night. So I'm going to end it right here. Do you have any final words for those who are hurting right now as a result of a separation?
Yeah, a lot of times we think that when you love someone, you must feel attached.
Right.
And this sense of attachment that I need you, and oh, I can't live without you. Even when the relationship is going good, it is important that you understand that I don't need to be attached. I can love this person close or at a distance. And getting over it doesn't mean you stop loving the person. It just means that you're not feeling that attachment to the person. And attachment is in itself not good.
Right.
True love, genuine love, is not where you feel, oh, I need you, I need you, I need you.
Right.
Yeah? Genuine love is I can love you whether or not you are a part of me. So being detached or detaching yourself and accepting.
Let me write that down. What did you say? Genuine love
Is loving the person whether or not the person is a part of you.
is loving the
A part of
person
your
whether or
life.
not the person is a part of you. Yep.
A part of your life, yeah.
I definitely agree. Yep. All right. Thank you. I really, really love your final words. Somebody said they love that one as well. Anybody else feeling that one as well? Let me know. Thank you so much for sharing with us and taking the time out because you're busy. When I asked you at last minute, I didn't even think you were going to say yes. So thank you so
It's
much.
you, Crystal. How can I not say yes?
Yeah, that means I can call you every week then. All right, thank you.
All
All
right,
right.
take care. All the best.
You can click end here. So
Okay.
guys, I have some writings of someone else. She wasn't able
I'm
to
not in
join. You don't see clear where it said leave.
No, it's not on my screen.
You don't see anything. It's on your screen. Check man.
It's not. It's not.
You don't say leave, okay, end or something. Come out of it completely as if you, and then you just to hear the final words you can rejoin. Very good. All right, guys. So as I said, she wasn't able to join, but I've always admired how she puts herself together. She makes it look so easy. I didn't even know she was going through a separation if she didn't say. She's actually a parent of the school. So many times, I'm going to be quite frank, some parents don't know how to deal with separation. And so what they do, they come and complain, oh, is daddy went to do this? Oh, is mommy went to do that? And they blame each other. But this parent has never done that. She just did her part and did what she had to do. And so I had asked her to come tonight to just give us a few tips as to how she deals with her separation. However, she wasn't able to make it, so I'm going to just read a few writings. All right, just a few that she did, and it definitely resonated with me. So it goes like this. People will ask me from time to time, what does it feel like to be single again? How did you move on from this or that? Some people even want to force you to move on. So what I'll do, I'll stop in the middle of the reading, because whenever it resonates with me, I'll definitely let you know. And it's the same thing with me. People definitely is forcing me to move on. I'm like, ugh, what about what I want? I'm very stubborn, nobody can tell me if you move on still. As a matter of fact, even in my relationship, when I had issues, nobody knew, because I deal with stuff on my own. I'm not one of those who run to family members. I'm like, we are in this together, and so we are going to deal with it together. So there's nobody that can be in my ears to say, oh, I don't think you should leave your marriage. Oh, I think you should leave your marriage. Oh, I think you should move on. I'm not that kind of person. And so definitely I understand, and that resonates with me when she said some people will force you to move on. All right. How did you cope with this or that? Do you regret getting married? Definitely did not regret getting married. Suppose I don't get married for the rest of my life. At least me get married once, right? I'm just kidding. I do not have that thinking of to say this will never happen. But guess what? By the rate how things are go with Corona, so we never know. Maybe it's the end of the time. Hey. So some are being inquisitive, definitely, while some are genuinely asking based on their own struggles. Yes. So some people will be genuine, but most of the time they just want to know your business. Truth is, we all have our story, and the means by which we move from point A to point B mentally or emotionally is very dependent on the individual, and most times their support system. This is definitely true. I don't necessarily deem myself of having a great support system, to be quite frank with you, but I guess the few that I have, it's working out. For me, it's not about learning to be single again or getting over someone or something and losing all love and affection. Moving on is a state of mind. It's waking up every day deciding to be okay, to be happy. Some days, okay is enough. I like that. Some days, okay is enough. Somebody type that for me. Let me know if you're hearing me, and if this is resonating with you. Some days, okay is enough. I really sometimes I don't want to answer no, but when them ask me, "Oh, how are you?" I don't know what to answer, and I just say okay. And it's okay to be just okay. The fact that sometimes you even wake up, and you even can pull the broom through the house. That is okay. That is good enough. Some days okay is good enough. Thank you, Chloe. It's about listening to that song, driving past that street and decide to keep going, even if initially you will break down. Ha! I did this a lot during my process. I'm still doing it. I read a lot of songs. Oh Jesus, I read a lot of. I listen a lot of songs. I read books too. But honestly, to be quite frank with you, is the songs that get me through. I do listen a lot of songs. It's like therapy to me. It is letting yourself feel, realizing and accepting everything that has happened. I like that. Letting yourself feel, realizing and accepting everything that has happened. And definitely, she didn't have this in there, but also the part you played. Come on, it takes two. I wasn't perfect. Me stubborn, me always tell you, I wasn't perfect. And so, I definitely played a part too in my separation. So you have to accept that though. Yes, I know it's not easy, but life is like that. You have to choose, but you also have to accept that like everything else in life, it is a process. It's going and growing through the process without being stuck in a phase for an extended period of time. All right, it requires effort on your part. Regardless of how you get there, one thing is sure: acceptance is where necessary is where necessary forgiveness is important. Find what makes you happy and live it. And she's gonna give me she gave me 5 tips. I'm gonna give the 5 tips to you. But guys, let me read that again. Regardless of how you get there, one thing is sure: acceptance is where necessary forgiveness is important. Acceptance is where necessary forgiveness is important. So at first, when my daughter had a stepmom or my partner had moved on, I thought it was a bit quick. And so I was like, that's too quick. And yeah, I felt one little way. My heart is like, oh, my daughter, somebody is a comb her ear, accept me. Somebody is a gear breakfast, accept me when I'm not there. And uh, the moment I decided to look into the mirror, I said, listen, it is what it is. What you go do? Kill up yourself over it and sit down and fret and mad out and dead and get mental and dead. You can't have no you don't have no use for she when she come to you. So the moment you accept, that's where necessary forgiveness is important. Accept the situation. It is what it is. Uno break up, then you go move on at some point, even though you may think it's quicker, he's still gonna move on. So the moment you accept it, and guess what? You can look into yourself too. What if it was you who found someone before him? Wouldn't you want him to accept that? So we as women, we definitely need to look in the mirror as well, as it relates to, put ourselves in the position to definitely try not to be bitter. So these are the 5 steps. Guys, are you hearing me? Are you with me? If you're with me, say with you. So me see. Because sometimes I don't even know. Because you're not typing and interacting. I'm not sure if you're listening. So if you're with me, say with me. Thank you, Chloe. Yes, definitely, Nikki. Definitely. All right. So let me give you the 5 tips now that she gave me. Thank you guys, as to how she heals. All right, find what makes you happy and live it. So for example, 1, I've been writing for as long as I can remember, but it's only in recent years that I found it therapeutic. I ain't got money for therapy anyway. That sound like me. I don't have no money for therapy, and to be quite frank with you, I'm just thinking that the therapy is going to be telling me the same thing. When I kind of know myself, so I just write it down. I mean, some people's situation is really, really bad, so I don't want to discourage you if you're going through therapy. But definitely, if you don't know that you don't have the money and stuff like that, be your own therapist. All right, write things down. 2, I have a love affair with nature, especially sunrise, sunset, and moonlit skies. Sunset tops it. So everywhere I go and every day I look out for the sunset. I am literally one of the people who will sit and watch the sun go down. Wow. I'm not going to lie. I'm not necessarily a nature person. I need to get with it. I'm more of an inside person. And so I would probably replace this with, I started to do a lot more interior decorating and stuff like that to make my space a little bit more comfortable. And, just to have more affirmation, you can look at it and you have a little sense of feeling. But definitely nature is something that I would suggest, try to, if you are a lover of it. I love the ocean too. My guest before spoke about she goes to the beach to meditate and so forth. So definitely that is therapeutic. So definitely the ocean and sunset and whatever. But if you're not that kind of person, find something else. I'm not a flowers person, so like gardening and those things, some people can do that because so they put the energy in their flowers and stuff like that. I'm hoping to get there one day, but we're all different. 3, I make an effort to spend time or communicate with the people I love and care about, no matter how simple or no matter the amount of time. This is important. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a loner. I don't let people in. I don't have anybody that I communicate with every day apart from my sister who passed away. Who passed away a few months ago. Right. So I don't have anybody else that I communicate with on a daily basis. So that is something that you need to get. I think, if it's even one person that you communicate with. I'm very bad at. It's not like I don't have. I'm not allowing. I don't let my cousins try to reach out. My parents now and then. But I am usually used to dealing with stuff on my own, and so I deal with them on my own. And I'm not sure that's a good thing. So I do put my time in my daughter though, which I think she's gonna say that here. I'm not gonna call her son's name, but she says that it goes without saying that having blah 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 makes a world of difference in my life, and I think definitely. I don't know if I'm going to have any more. Maybe I can have one more. Who to tell? But definitely, she has changed my life. I, as Mr. Burchell had said before, love people, but try not to get too attached. So I'm learning to detach from her, as her daddy and I share her every week. He has her a couple of days of the week, and that's a set thing for 2 years straight. At first, I was not sleeping well when she's not around, but he's a good dad, and I know she's fine. She have a good stepmother. So she good like that. She all right. I'm comfortable. And so at first, as I said, it wasn't easy. I'm like, okay. Remember, a year baby that, and you don't know where your baby at some time, you don't know where. So it was very hard for me, but let's leave this for the topic of co-parenting. And finally, she said, I try not to dwell. That is the operative word, try. And live as best as I can in the best way I can. I like that. In the best way you can, not in the best way somebody else want for you. But what do you want for yourself? What makes you happy? What about you? Your idea of success for me, or your idea of acceptance and happiness for me, may not be my idea. Here's somebody saying, when the child is happy, you eventually adjust. That's definitely true. And my aim is that, listen, she's number one priority. I want her to be happy. So I'm not going to be arguing with him while she's there. You crazy? No, sir. I prefer put on the face, because I don't want it to affect her. I see how it affects children, and definitely doesn't want that for her. All right, guys. Wow. Thank you so much for tuning in. This goes the end of the show. Next week, tell a friend to tell a friend. Tune in. We do this every Tuesday night at 8:30. We try to do it as a little counseling session, persons are going through stuff, and so we want to help who we can, one step at a time. Mental health is very, very important in these days. We've seen a lot more. The suicide rates are going up, especially during the corona. Stress is hitting our loved ones. And so if you can encourage another, why not do that? And that's my purpose in life. If it's even 2 persons that I inspire, without even trying to, because I didn't know I was inspiring when I started the post, which actually, for those who don't know, was why I actually started Relicious Life with Crystal, because of my own personal page and stuff that I would post, and people would reach out to me. And I say, hey, why not try to reach people on a larger scale? So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me play a song to go. Any questions before I go? There's somebody that had a question before, but I don't see her on the live. Any questions before we go? Anybody want to just jump on quickly? Anybody want to jump